Cool. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. You're watching Pips Like a Pro, the live show with me, Gavin, the host, and the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Andy Demi. Today, we talk about all things FX. We've already broken down so much. If you are just tuning in now, we've gone through the best time frames to trade with FX. We've broken down the biggest FX news of the week, and we've decided to go a little bit left field. And for the reasons that Andy's going to describe now, we're actually going to look at gold. If you want to understand why, then tune in to the replay of the show. If you are just tuning in now, to understand how we've got to this point after breaking down the biggest FX news of the week and all the high impact news. So with that being said, we've got some live analysis ready to go on gold, and our promise is to try and find you a trade within 15 minutes. Are you ready for this week's challenge, Mr. Demi?
Yep, I am ready. I'm absolutely ready. So let's, and again, just for those that are just tuning in, just remember, guys, we do have non-farm payrolls, which will have a big impact potentially on gold. So the ideal plan will be to try and get into some profit at the start of the week, get the right direction, and then we could either cash out maybe half and move the stock to break even, or just move the stock to break even and see if we can get a big move into the news. So it's something we used to do quite a lot in the hedge funds. We used to run positions into the news with no risk. And then obviously, but the risk is obviously you give back any profits that you've made, but the potential is huge if you get a big number, which we could definitely get on Friday, as we said. So in the interest of just kind of like, being transparent, gold is not something that I trade. I have traded it many times before, but at the moment, it's not something that I've traded for a little while. Having said that, a chart is a chart, and we can definitely break this down and give you my opinions as to how this might move. So here's the data that I've got. Okay, so I've only got data until going back to 2006. I'm sure there is more data. I don't know if there's anything else here. Let me just have a look at AXE, if there's anything, if the XAU symbol is here. Otherwise, we'll go with what I can see there. Let's see. We've got XAU. So let's have a look and see if we get any more data there. Is it the same? Oh, we do. Excellent. There you go. That's it. That's better, right? So we've got even more data right now. So let's do a little bit on the weekly chart. Okay, so let's have a little bit of a breakdown and see what's going on here. So firstly, I'm going to do is just going to quickly add in our trend lines here. There's our uptrend lines right now, and I will just zoom in over here and have a look. So you can see we've recently just broken this trend line. So that kind of gives us the idea that the market will most likely move towards the next trend line down here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just plot my Fibonacci here and have a look to see where the projection is, and that looks quite great. That looks perfect. So basically the Fibonacci is projecting that we're going to basically go down to here, and you can see it matches perfectly there with our trend line. So so the initial bias is down. Just looking at that in the first few minutes, I quite like that. It matches with this old 1618. So I quite like a push down towards 1620 as a good area to target initially. I quite like that little spike into that as well, and we've got a nice little between 1600 1620 looks good. So let me go and have a look at what the lower time frames are saying, and we'll see if there's a specific setup. So I'm just going to open up a daily chart, and where is XAU? XAU, where are you? So here's our daily chart. So we will just, because we already kind of have a little bit of a picture, but I'm going to just put in my down fibs here because it could be telling us something slightly different. No, it looks quite similar actually here on the daily. So that's pretty good. Let's have a little look to see how this market likes to move. And that will just give us a bit of an idea as to, so we've got that kind of movement. Okay. Just getting a feel for the price that we like to move. Yeah, that looks quite good actually. It's not too bad. So what I'm doing here, guys, is just I just want to get a feel for, like, what the downtrend could be like. So you had like you could see that was holding quite well, and then we kind of broke it, and then we've gone down again. So I'm just going to take that as an example. You can see there that market right now has reacted perfectly to that line. So that's a good indicator that as long as we stay below this line, that we could be heading lower. Now, the other thing that I'd like to do here, guys, is I'm going to just plot my sub Fibonacci, because I just want to see if there's any other information that might help. It may not, but I always like to just have a look and see if I don't know if I've got the right one on there. But so that gives us okay, so current fit, that's quite good. That's pretty close, isn't it? So even the sub fibs are kind of telling us a move down to this sort of 1620, 1600 zone looks really good. So I really like this zone, guys. Let me see what we can do. So let's mark this down. I think this is a really great zone. Now, it could be a case of, like, you try and find a trade towards that zone, or you try and buy it down here. That could be quite good as well. So let me now go and see if we can bring in an hourly chart to see if there's anything else we can plan for now, and see if we can get a setup either to short down there, or potentially let's also look at the 4 hour. Why not? Very quickly. And all right. So just trying to get a sense for this channel here. There's an obvious channel that we have right there. Just want to see if we can get a reactive line off the back of it. So you can see there, that's pretty neat. So if we are going to go down, and you want to get into this as a short, I guess a really nice price might be up here. In which case we can, let's see if we can do the sub fibs here as well. So we've kind of got a 38.2 pullback right now. I wonder if it's going to kind of push up to this zone here. And then, so let's see, shape. Somewhere there. So between 1789 and 1806. And I wonder if you could do a short-term trade up to there and then reverse potentially. This is the uptrend line. Let's see if there's anything useful here. You've got a potential. I quite like this. If you're looking for, I don't know if you guys are looking for a buy. It's against the overall likely move, but I really like that little level there, that 618. And it's a good reactive level as well. Look, if you see there, it's recently reacted, and that would bring you quite nicely into that potential uptrend higher. So let me tell you the price, guys. That price would be roughly about 1737. Looks quite interesting, and I guess if you draw, put that sort of downtrend line there, that's what's happening right now. So you don't really want to buy this here for sure. So there's a couple of things we can do. We could look for a buy here. About 1737 looks good value to me. It's tricky to do anything else here in the middle. If we break through here, it may not go back up there, and then you can start to consider the short towards the bigger move down to here. And then I'd be looking for a reversal in this box. But bear in mind, if you are quite far away from this box, by Friday, it could be worth sticking an order in here in this box. If you're really, really close to it, I think it'd be really high risk to jump in front. So right now, overall, our sentiment to push it down there, but short term, we could go up. And I think 1737 could be a good value area to buy here. And for those that just want to do some day trades, you could just look at that area there as a potential area just to scalp long. So I'll give you a kind of, for those that want to day trade, I'll tell you what you can do. What you can do is really simple. Well, I think it's simple. If this market does come down to here and you want to buy it here, you take the low point to the high point, and you target the most basic thing, which is the 38.2. So if it goes down to here and you think, yep, I want to buy, and you just want to get out quite quickly, you just target that with 38.2. And that will be a quick little day trade. You could even close out, say 50% and leave 50% in case we do rally into here, for example. So there's a few different things that you could do to play that. I'll do one more thing here. Let me see if the DTR here and see what one is working with this chart. So DTR today is pretty much there. It does tend to stay within it unless there's news. I mean, this one was probably news. There's a couple. I mean, if you wanted to, so this is basically the likely low of today, but there's no trade for me there. But what you could do is you can expand this in case something happens, and you can stick an order good for the day. So let's do 1.5, even more than 1.6 possibly. I'm just trying to fit the extremes into the market. 1.8. Yeah. So here you've got The extreme was at the 1.8 here. The 1.8 is basically there, which is high. It's unlikely we're going to get there today. But if you wanted a super high probability, but yet unlikely to be filled trade, you'd be putting a buy order there, which is if you want something specific, that is coming in about 1733, which is not far different from 1737, which is what I suggested buy zone. So good for the day, high probability. If we were to drop today to this little block here, you could definitely get a high probability move upwards, make some profit, or you can use it to position yourself for a higher move up. If you break this line here, the likelihood is that we're going to start to look to push lower towards that 1620 to 1600 zone, in which case I'd expect a reaction to the other side. So that's kind of it in a nutshell.